person. Are we live?
Yeah, we are live now. We are not.
Wait, I'm confused. Is this
What?
not a League of Legends game? Where's
No,
who's got mid lane?
we're just gonna pug the fifth person here.
Okay. What's up, guys?
I got both, man. I got jungle and top.
Yeah,
I'll
like I
take
said,
both.
there you go. So Neo can go jungle and top. I'll just support. So screw it. I'll
I
take
don't
the
know
easy
any of
job.
this at all.
So
Never played that game before.
it's it's
I like it. It's
it's
fun. I play
Yeah,
some.
it's fun.
I just
My
want to.
kid likes it
I've
a
played
lot,
it,
so
but
I
I haven't
play with him.
gotten into it, so I don't know what these
Yeah.
words are saying mean. But
So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Tonight we are going to be talking about the tournament of streamers, top, I guess, 15. I like calling it top 16 because it's easy that way. But however, there are only 15 people. So in case anyone is confused, you only see 15 names here because, well, those are the people who made it to the top 15. So yeah, with me today, I have Soldak, should be right above me here. Mythic Fish Mom is over in the corner, over one of these directions. And of course, you guys know Neo, who is one of these ways. I don't know which way I'm facing here. But you probably know all of us by now. So, yeah. So, pool play is over. Frank, I'll let you start here. How did you think pool play went? Think it went pretty well?
It it went amazing considering we were running a global tournament in four different, very distinct parts of the world with 32 streamers. And I was really pleased because the only reason I think it went well was because this time we were able to grab a few guys to give me some assistance as tournament directors for each pool, and those guys did an amazing job, including yourself, John, running the Newcomers bracket. So we had basically 5 pools of streamers with all with different schedules, all with different life demands, and yet somehow, with only 1 or 2 small roadblocks along the way, hiccups, we got through it. And I'm really excited about the outcome because we have an amazing looking top 16 coming up, and I'm looking forward to seeing every one of those games.
Yeah, the top 16 here looks really really good. It's about what I expected, out of the pool play. There's a few people in here that kind of caught me off guard, especially Meet the Future, which I'm sure Neo will talk about here soon. But overall though, I think the people that that made it are all very very good players. I think it's going to be a really competitive tournament here, especially the first few rounds. And it's also really sweet that we were able to get 6 people from Europe. I think there might only be 5. I think Guar kind of subbed in for somebody. We got 6 people in the Asian pool that are all from that area. The East Coast pool, the West Coast pool. So it was all really diverse as far as the whole world goes. And I think everything was pretty well, well set up, and the countries were all well, well met basically. It's all spread out, and it's awesome how it all worked out. So let's see. Let's talk about the European pool here. Nia, why don't you tell us about your games in that pool and how it all went down?
Well, for the most part, it went pretty well. For the most part, luckily my loss was taken when it didn't matter anymore. Really, I've actually ended up in an alright position in the top 16 because of it. But yeah, I mean, Meet the Future just came in, stomped everyone's face. No one knew who he was. Like, he just kicking butt and taking names really. And then Guerre just trolled everyone and played silly decks pretty much every time, which is kind of fun to watch. And then Dormy and Cyrus just kind of got, I guess, outmatched really by more experienced players. Like, neither of them have much experience in TCGs prior to Hex, whereas I think it's clear that the people who did make it through have some sort of experience with other card games prior to this, like Crone, myself, and Meet the Future. I mean, if Meet the Future hasn't got some prior experience, he's some sort of crazy savant, and he needs to be put down.
Yeah, I think that has to do with a lot of the decks he was playing. He played Wild Ruby aggro for the majority of his games, which I figured was a pretty good deck, but I didn't think it was that good. He just kind of was running over people with it, and he was drawing extremely well, which helps his cause. But still, it has to be a good deck still, no matter how good you draw, to be able to beat the quality of players that he was beating. So he actually got the 1 seed out of that pool because he beat you on tiebreakers. Even though you guys played like with weird decks, but still, not to take anything away from him, he did very very well in the pool. And I know that me and you were joking around the other day saying that you thought you might have an easier road with the second seed, but even looking at the bracket here still. It's still going to be a tough road playing against the Swordia round one, and even if you win that, you have probably either we'll just say Crone for round two. So it's still gonna be tough no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I thought that it might work out because when I said that, like, not everyone was in the bracket. I think there's like 5 names up here, and depending on how things went, I could have potentially, like, had an easy road in terms of being able to expect what people are playing and knowing that I have answers for it. Like, I cannot think of an answer to Blood Diamond right now, other than have a Blood Diamond deck that does better.
Yeah,
like just get luckier,
or try to kill them, before they can even start doing the things that they do well.
Yeah, that works too. But I really don't like playing aggro decks, and I don't think
either.
I'd do it.
Yeah,
like just to win.
Oh, I don't
match.
either. Did you hear Tata say that? I don't either. Like, he just didn't win a whole tournament running Mono Ruby.
Hey, I only played it because that deck was kind of broken, but they kind of nerfed everything, and all the faster decks now I don't really care for too much. So, but yeah, I hate playing, Mono Ruby. It's really not my style of deck, but last tournament it was just too good not to play. So, but yeah, that was the European pool. I think overall it went about as we predicted last Monday. We talked about how we think that, I thought, anyway, that it'll be Neo, Crone, and I thought that Endormi would take the last spot, but as it turned out, Meet the Future came in and just stomped people. So,
Sold his soul.
Yeah, he sold his soul to somebody, and he's actually top seed out of the European pool. So
Well, that was probably one of the biggest surprises, was Endormi not making the top 16 after he did so well. I think he won the pool A, didn't he?
yeah,
in
last
the first
time
tournament.
Yeah, he won
Yeah,
play.
so he went from being a pool winner
Well-
to not making the top 16. So that surprised me.
Endormi has a sort of lack of experience with sideboarding, and I think that probably made a big difference from this time because there was sideboarding in every game
throughout
in pool play.
Sure.
In pool play before, he could just play the deck and not worry about sideboarding. And I don't think him knowing really the reasons why he was putting cards in or what cards he should put into his deck after the first game, I don't think that helped him out much, and I think that's probably why he was left on the back foot here.
Yeah, maybe. So, but anyway, I mean, I'm sure that he'll come back next tournament, stronger than ever. And with the introduction of tournaments starting on Wednesday, in game, we might get 2 out of 3 matches with sideboards. Like, that's still to be determined.
That'd be
I'm
so
sure,
sweet.
But that'd be
I really hope it is.
exactly. That'd be really really cool if that happens, and then maybe players like him and other players that are new to TCGs can get sideboarding experience. So that was a European pool. Let's talk about the East Coast pool. That was your pool, right, Tim? The East Coast pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us about your games in that pool and what you thought about it?
Well, I think my pool was entirely bugged. I don't know. I feel like there was something wrong with that entire pool. Um, no, but I'm very happy to see Armies do so well because he didn't do well. I don't know what his exact record was last time, but he didn't do very well, and I think he's an excellent player. So the fact that he crushed this pool was good to see because I think it really showed his play skills. J. Kroll, I'm not surprised at all to see there because he's very good. He's crushed me a million times in my stream. Sven, I didn't hear about Sven at all until I played him. Honestly, I had no idea who he was until I played him. But he was playing that Blood Diamond aggro deck, I think the entire tournament, and very good, very good deck. I didn't think it was that great, but then he absolutely just demolished me with his amount of life gain he had. But it was very diverse with everyone was playing. I don't think I saw Armies didn't play the same deck twice. I know that much. He never does. J. Kroll played the Blood Sapphire Volcanic control deck, which is very sweet and something out of the box, which is cool to see. Someone's playing the Blood Diamond aggro. I don't know what Informer was playing the entire time, but
I think he played
him
a
and Trump
few
did very
different
well.
decks. Yeah, I was actually really surprised to see Armies do so well. Not that I think he's a bad player or anything like that. But last tournament he didn't do as hot, and I felt like this time maybe he'd do slightly better, but not as good as he did. Like that pool, in my opinion, was a pretty tough pool, and to come out of it 5-0 is a very impressive, and it really caught me off guard, and I hope he does well still, in the top 16. He plays against one of my teammates in the first round of top 16, so I hope he loses. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him beat Aaron Squire, Charles, and then we'll have the epic showdown in the top 8 of me and Armies. But there's another backstory to that as well. Is that this afternoon I calculated the
Guild.
results for the guild challenge, yeah, and there were 3 guilds that qualified: Clan Blackblade, my guild, of course, and Murder Inc. And as it turns out, that Murder Inc. just had 2 people in it, but one of them is Armies, and he went, I think, 10 game wins and like 2 or 3 game losses throughout his entire pool play. And then the other person in his pool was Skirovic, I think. He was in the Newcomers pool, and he won 2 and lost 4, I think it was. So their win percentage was like 63% or something, which is pretty impressive. Whereas I think HEX TCG Pro is at around like 60 or 61%. So if he can beat Aaron Squire and then beat me in the top 8, like I think that all but solidifies their spot as the top guild out of this whole tournament, which is really cool. So I would have liked to see more guild support out of the whole tournament as a whole, but for like a first time trial effort, it was really, really cool.
Well, yeah, I will go ahead and say that I know everybody was real impressed with how Meet the Future played. He won 4 matches, but to me, in my mind, what Armies of Mordor did was the most impressive thing in pool play. We remember Armies from the first tournament. He had some bad breaks in his games. A lot of his games were really close where he got a resource problem. But in this tournament, I mean, playing 5 different decks and winning all 5 of his matches, it's like, what does he get as his reward, though, for being so amazing in pool play? Is he gets by far the hardest pool of the bracket. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that he has. Neo's probably second, but just behind Armies. But Armies has the hardest draw now. He's got to beat Aaron Squire, who just won the tournament. I don't remember what the name of that tournament was that we did, the little funsy thing. Anybody remember the name of that tournament?
Yeah,
the fan site.
The Hex Realms tournament.
Yeah, the Hex Realms tournament. So. Aaron Squire's just come off of a big victory in that, and even in Aaron Squire, he got the 3rd seed, but he got it on tiebreakers. I mean, he was tied for first in his pool, so so he's basically playing a pool winner, and then he's playing our last tournament champion. I don't know who this guy is. Is John? Is it, how do you say it? Titties or Tata?
Something like that.
Tata.
Some bum.
So basically, Army's reward for going undefeated in pool play is getting the hardest draw in the top 16.
And it's actually really interesting because let's say that he beats Charles and then beats me. Like, there's a really good chance that he'll play J Crawl in the top 4, he just played back to backs. Hex TCG Pro members, and even if Crone or someone like that makes the finals, then he'll play against someone else in Crone. So he could just like stomp his way through entire guild to be like, yeah, don't care, crush you, don't care, crush you, all the way to the finals and just win the whole thing. But that would be really impressive, and it's like Frank, it's true that like going undefeated in pool play, like I don't think that was done last time. Even maybe Endormi did.
No, Neo got close, but then he lost like his last match or something.
Something, yeah. But like going 10 wins, like, or 10 points out of pool play is
that's crazy good.
Pretty impressive. So.
Oh, it's beyond impressive. I mean, that's more than luck at that point.
Yeah. So,
we kind of felt like he didn't make it into the elimination rounds last tournament because he got some bad breaks on some resource draws back before we had Shards of Fate and some other cards to help us with he was playing multi-shard decks, I think, back then before really I think you should have. I think in our first tournament, clearly Mono Wild and Mono Ruby were the only 2 decks to play because of how hard it was to balance resource curves. And I think a couple of those resource screws really did and legitimately keep him out of doing much better than he should have in the first tournament. But right now, Armies of Mordor looks like what it says. He looks like an army steamrolling through this tournament, and he is about to smack right up into Errant Squire. And honestly, in the first round, it is the most anticipated match, I think, of these first round matches. They're all great matches, but I cannot wait to see what Errant Squire and Armies of Mordor square off against each other. I can't wait to see the deck lists. They're due Friday,
Yeah.
late Friday. I'm going to grab those deck lists, keep them to myself, of course, but I'm going to be going through my mind 100 different scenarios of how those two games are going to play out. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Charles and Armies can do to each other.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that too here in a few minutes. But yeah, but it's really interesting what's gone on there, and like you were saying, it's really tough for him to be the one seed basically out of the whole tournament and just like have this road to the finals. So we'll see how that works out. Tim, what do you think the best deck was out of your pool? That you played against, or even played yourself.
Um, well, I don't think I played any of the best decks, but I did like the deck Armies played against me, the big red mono red deck. Just had a lot of power to it. May not be the best deck out there, but it's a very cool deck. Though J. Kroll's deck was actually very sweet too and very powerful. So
Yeah.
I'd say between J. Kroll's control deck or Armies mono red deck he played.
Yeah, that like I saw that red deck. I think I watched all of Army's matches actually because I had like a ton of free time last week. But it looked pretty sweet. I have a deck like that as well, and it's pretty solid. It's kind of slow to ramp up, but once you get to that critical turn, you just throw out tons and tons of damage at a time. So
Yeah, once you get to 5, you're pretty much good.
yeah. So then the West Coast pool, I didn't really follow that one too much because they were kind of lagging behind throughout the whole time. They had some scheduling conflicts, but I know that.
Yeah, that was a crazy pool.
Yeah, but
Crazy.
But the people that got out of that pool was pretty much who we expect to function. Of course, Charles, and then those are the two that I knew for sure. And then Hacky, I don't know anything about Hacky at all, but he clearly knows what he's doing. He got the 2 seed out of that pool, so he even beat Charles, I think. So that's that's pretty good for him. So we'll see how that pool goes, or how that they do in the top 16. But I'm not surprised to see Function and Charles there though. They've been solid players throughout all of Alpha. So, and then the newcomers bracket was 2 people from my guild actually, is Grum and Disordia. So they were the only 2 people, or I think there were 3 people from the guild. And
There were.
Yeah, in that bracket, and 2 of them actually made it out of it. So that's pretty exciting for me anyway, to see teammates doing well. But I'm kind of surprised to see Grum. I know that Neo and I were talking last Monday who we thought would make it through, and I don't think Grum's name even came up. Do you remember, Neo?
No, I'm pretty sure I didn't. But again, it's hard to make a judgment on someone when you've never really heard of them prior to this, and that's the same thing with Meet the Future as well. Like, you really have no idea what they're like and what they can do. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was a surprise. Say that there's no real way of predicting it, I suppose.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. It's while we might be surprised, we can't really be that surprised because we don't know anything about them. So maybe they're just awesome players and they just came through and just crushed everyone's. But Grum actually played the exact same deck every single round in the tournament and just like 2-0'd, or maybe I think he actually 2-0'd everyone. Maybe he lost like a game or two, but he was just playing mono blood mid range with like the Blood Dragon and Castigator and like Blood Aura and a few other cards. Pretty straightforward deck, and he just smashed everyone with it. So that's pretty awesome, to see. And then of course Disordia won. Like, he lost first round in that bracket, and then actually proceeded to just win his next, like, I think 5 rounds you have to win through the losers bracket, and he just won them all with the Blood Diamond Resurrection deck. So that's not surprising to see, and I'm glad that he made it through.
Yeah, I've already uploaded today the first of the shoutcasts from the elimination matches. I'm starting with the newcomers pool, and let me make an observation about the newcomers pool. In my opinion, and it's not a scientific survey. Maybe after I've done more shoutcasting of these matches, I'll have a better opinion. But right now, my opinion is that the Newcomers pool saw by far the most play mistakes and the most play mistakes that cost people games. They're called Newcomers. They haven't been streaming as much, but I'm also concerned that maybe they haven't been playing as much. So it really does not surprise me that a couple of HEX TCG Pro guys who Grum and Sean came out of the bracket, because honestly, even watching their games, there was even opportunities they could have been knocked out, but their opponent made some play mistakes that really could have killed them right there. So it's kind of that, is it a game of luck? To some degree, yes, but there is some skill in this. There is absolutely skill involved, and you see it in knowing how to make those tactical play decisions that can decide whether you win a game or not. And that came up to me more often in the Newcomers pool than I saw anywhere else.
Yeah, for sure. I'm right there with you. I saw quite a few play errors myself, and I'm not too surprised who made it through. And I hope next time the players learn from their mistakes and don't repeat them. So that's a good point to make. So let's go into the top 16 here and try to pick some winners to see who's going to win this tournament. So Frank, this time we're just sticking with the same deck throughout the whole top 16, right? Like,
sort of. We're going to try it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely for the top 16 and definitely for the top 8. Whatever deck you submit to me by Friday is the deck you're going to be playing through the tournament. If, however, because there's another week gap between the top 8 and the top 4. If there's a big change in maybe some new cards come out, even if something gets fixed that we have been, I don't know what it could be. I'm not going to try to predict the future. I'm just leaving open the door that if there's a patch with new cards or a patch that does something to the game, I may, going into the top 4, say, okay, this is significant enough that I'm going to let everybody redo deck lists and submit anything you want. But if there's no kind of patch, if it's just a stability patch, if they just add tournaments, if they don't do anything substantial to the cards that are in the pool right now, I'm going to actually ask everyone to play these deck lists all the way through to the end.
Well, I think, I mean, maybe I'm just misunderstanding, but I think that the top 16, is Friday the 13th and Saturday the 14th, and the top 8 is Sunday the 15th and Monday the 16th, right? So wouldn't the top 4 then be the 17th and the finals be the 18th? Is that right? Or
no, I think we got to look at when they're going to do a patch. We're not going to try to have the game being played anytime around a patch. I want to at least give a day or two in between. So they have been patching on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so there's a good possibility that we'll have to move the top 4 in the final game towards closer to the weekend. Maybe do a Friday and a Saturday. Either way, there will be a couple of days at least between the top 16, the top 8, and then the final 4.
We'll see. We'll have to talk about it some, but My only concern is moving it close to Christmas. People might start to go on vacation, for Christmas and things like that. Because
That's a good point.
because if you move it the week after now or after next week, then you're looking at the weekend of the 21st and 22nd, and we'll have to make sure people are still around for that. But we might just have to see when patches are and try to play all the games right before the patch. So we'll figure it out. But
because first tournament we kind of did rush. We rushed because they were going to let everybody in to alpha. Like everybody was coming in the next day, so we had to hurry up and get the tournament done. The night before that, so it worked out really well to do that.
Yeah, it did. So we'll see. But for sure, the top 16 is Friday, Saturday, and the top 8 is Sunday and Monday. And to see the schedule, it's on the fan site section of the forums. I don't have a link handy right this second, but maybe someone can post it. But the schedule is up there. It's still kind of a work in progress, but for the most part, those matches are pretty concrete. So let's go through the bracket here quickly and try to pick some winners. So the first match, I don't know if this is the first match of the whole tournament, but we'll just go from top to bottom here. Meet the Future and Storm Fireblade. Future is the first seed out of the European bracket, and I believe Storm Fireblade is the third seed out of the APAC bracket. Who do you guys think is going to win this game? Frank?
Well, obviously Future, he crushed all those pesky little Europeans. He made them all look so bad. But honestly, though, I have been so impressed with Storm Fireblade's decks. I mean, he kind of maybe outthinks himself sometimes. His decks are a little more complicated than other players' decks, but depending on the deck list he finally settles on, I'm going to go ahead and pick Storm Fireblade to win that in an upset. I really am.
Tim, who do you think?
Well, I mean, after watching, I think I only watched one of Future's games, but the way he drew, I'm gonna go ahead and say Future's gonna win because he just drew like the stone perfects every single round. It was crazy.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna go with Future.
yeah. Neo, what do you think?
I think Storm takes it.
Yeah,
I think the Meet the Future's luck's got to run out sometime, and
maybe.
it's got to like you can't be that lucky for that long. Surely it's got to give at some point.
Yeah,
You want to face him in top four and like have a matchup with the
Like
best
you,
top decks?
it's so unlikely that you'd go through an entire tournament without having to go down to 5 at least once, or without having just like terrible draws. And I think that's going to happen to him this game because it hasn't yet. And I think Storm will probably take it because he's got probably a more consistent build.
I'm gonna go ahead and pick Future. I think that the run that he's had so far is pretty impressive, and I think that he's just going to you know, pretty much keep stomping people. So we'll pick him. So that means that Stormfire Blade is probably going to be out, and which leaves basically just you to represent Old Clan Blackblade. So no
Oh, that's
pressure.
enough, man. That's enough. Don't worry.
No pressure there. So moving down, we have Havoc against Grum from the Newcomers pool. Havoc was, I believe, the third seed. Maybe no, he was actually second out of the APAC region, and Grum was the winner of the newcomer bracket. Who do you guys have for that one, Frank?
Well, I'm going to pick Havoc. Grum is a solid player. I was real impressed with his thoughtfulness and the strength of the decks he put together. It's just that I felt like some of his opponents were a little weaker than the opponents Havoc had to play to get through the pool rounds. Havoc has experience with our last tournament. He's constantly streaming. He's constantly playing this game. Havoc is always working. He kind of does what I call deliberate practice. I've seen Havoc really work on an aspect of his deck construction in his game until he figures out what's wrong with it and improves it. He's very detail oriented, so I'm going to go with Havoc to upset Grum because Grum played so well. He's undefeated in the tournament himself, so I'm going to go with Havoc over Grum.
Yeah, Tim, what do you think?
Well, I haven't seen Grum play, so it's kind of unfair to say, but Havoc's my boy, so I'm gonna go with Havoc.
Okay, Neo, what do you
That's really
think?
best I got.
I think that they're both really good players, and Havoc hasn't really done that well this tournament, and Grum has really, really done well this tournament. And I can't really base this tournament on how Havoc performed last tournament.
Yeah.
And this tournament, Grum has a lot more wins under his belt than Havoc does, and he's generally so far in this tournament in this meta game done a lot better. So I'm going to go with Grum.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn here. I really like for Grum to win, because he's, on, part of my guild. But I think that Havoc's experience will kind of, maybe outweigh Grum's run through the newcomers bracket. So, just for sake of argument, I'm actually gonna take Havoc here. I think he'll have a pretty good deck ready, and I think that he'll come through here. Let me put this there. Bam. So yeah, so we'll take Havoc. So moving on down, so that's the first quarterfinal matchup set up here would be Future and Havoc. So moving on down, we have Nero against Crone. I actually, honestly, know nothing about Nero. Like, even through pool play, I did not see one single game that he played. I just didn't have time to, watch the Asian pool. Or maybe he might have even been from the East Coast pool, and I didn't see any games of his. But
No, he was in Asia.
okay, yeah, I wasn't sure which one he was in, but I just didn't see any games from him. And he's playing against Crone, who has a ton of, experience from last tournament and even, this tournament. I think Crone's going to win this one, but, we could be surprised. Let's see, Nero and Crone. Frank, what do you think?
Well, besides Errant Squire and Army's match, this is the other match that's so close that I would really have a hard time picking a winner. Nero, I did see matches of his. His decks were just really great. And of course, though, kind of Crone is one of my favorites, and he did so well in the last tournament. He is representing HEX TCG Pro really well, and I'm going to go ahead and pick Crone. I don't know why. I can't even articulate a reason why, other than he's shown at times when his back's against the wall that he knows what deck to pick. Going back to last tournament, he came out with that mono ruby deck and really impressed. He had the same thought, I guess you did, John. But I'm going to go ahead and pick Crone. But I really feel like perhaps Nero maybe even be a better player and even a better deck builder. But for some reason, it's a coin flip, and I'm going to go with Crone.
Yeah, yeah. Tim, I think Crone's going to win this one.
Probably. I mean, Neo Genius is a very good player, and I played against him a few
He
times.
really is.
He's very good. But I think Chrome might pull it out here.
Yeah.
His experience alone.
Yeah, that's kind of the boat I'm on. I think that the experience will kind of win out, but I wouldn't be floored to see Nero win. Neo,
Yeah, I
what do you
wouldn't call
think?
it an upset if he wins, but
Yeah,
Yeah, I gotta go with Crow, man. I know that he certainly has the best chance of winning. I think due to all factors considered, he never makes play mistakes for the most part, and
yeah,
that's
he thinks through everything, which is really I think his technical play is really tight because he thinks through everything very very extensively and plays around as much as he possibly can. So that's really cool.
Yeah, if we had if Grum and Crone ever matched up in the tournament, we'd probably have a 3 to 4 hour match between the two of them. They're very thoughtful players.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Moving on, we have Neo against Disordia. In my opinion, I think that this match is actually going to be one of the closest matches. I think it'll almost certainly go to 3 games. A lot of people don't know much about Disordia outside of his involvement in the Thursday, show that that we do. But he's actually a pretty good player. He doesn't get to play as much as he likes, but he's a pretty solid player. He still makes some mistakes here and there, but for the most part, he's very very solid. And of course, Neo is just awful. So I think that somehow Neo will pull this out. I think that again, I think that the experience might win out in the long run. But
I always pull out, man. I always pull out.
well,
smart,
that's good to know. So I'm actually going to pick Neo. What do you think, Frank?
Well, it just depends which Neo shows up for the match, to be honest. I mean, as you know, Neo, you have put some decks together that have abused people in pool play, but then you've also come out with some decks that were like, why were you playing a flying deck and when it meant so much kind of thing. It's just you can be all over the map. When you're great, you're amazingly great, and when you flop, it's like, ouch, don't watch that. That looks painful. And what I saw with Sean, that's Disordia, playing in the Newcomers pool, he played a deck that had no business winning in my mind. I mean, when one of your main win conditions is getting to a 9-drop, I don't know how you're supposed to win, but he did. But often, again, there were times he should have been knocked out of the tournament where his opponents just didn't. I don't know. I don't. You can watch some of the shoutcast later, and you'll hear pretty apt descriptions of where they went wrong. But I'm going to say that Neo has learned his lesson, and he's going to come in with a really hardcore deck this time. And I think that unless Sean gets out of his 9-drop ways, I think Neo is going to pull this one off.
Well, Frank, believe it or not, Neo and I actually built a deck that Sean played throughout the Newcomers bracket, and it's the deck that is at the very top of my list for the whole tournament. So,
well, good luck with it.
it's a very 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 solid deck, and as you saw, like he beat everyone with it. But it's really good, and
Two of my games were played with that deck as well in my pool, and I won both of those.
Yeah, it's even though it's a 9-drop, it's not that hard to get to it with a blood deck and with hex engines. And once you play that card, it's literally impossible to lose the game. So because no one is ready for it, at least main board. So
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, sure you are. So anyway, Tim, do you think Neo's going to beat Sean here?
I do, but only because Sean doesn't like Celine Dion. So I think because
Well,
of
I
that,
don't
he has
either.
a disadvantage. Well, then, I mean, you're going to lose, obviously, too. That's how it works. Neo understands Celine Dion's where it's at, so Distorted has to lose.
So,
Sean has to be.
so that's your song, is kind of Celine Dion. Neo likes playing "Stand by Me," I think, or whatever it is. I think I'm just gonna start playing "Eye of the Tiger" or something, for.
Well, my
each of
song has
games.
changed. Celine Dion's my losing song. I found a new one that works every time.
Yeah.
Neo did it today. Mulligan to 3 and still won because he played the song.
All right. What song
So
is
it
it?
works. It's called Heart of the Cards by some band that I don't know who they are. Found it on YouTube and it works amazingly.
Well, that's awesome. That sounds really, really dumb. So,
John, you
It is.
strike me more of
It
a
is really
Katy
dumb.
Perry roar type than Eye of the Tiger.
ooh, Katy Perry. Maybe I should do that. That's true.
There we
I
go.
Kissed a Girl. That sounds
I
pretty
thought
good.
about it too, actually, but I decided against it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Celine Dion's way more manly.
I'll find something. I'll see who my opponent is first. If it's Charles, maybe I can get away with playing Katy Perry. But if it's armies, I might need like I have the Tiger. So we'll see. Neo, do you think you're gonna win?
Yep.
Cool. No one cares. So we'll,
What else is he supposed
Short
to
answer.
say? No, I'm gonna play my one of deck and I'm gonna lose.
he actually feasibly
Yeah, actually, I
will.
was thinking of it.
It actually looks strong. Actually, he could
Yeah.
probably win with that against some of these opponents.
Not in the top 16, I don't think, but in pool play maybe. So
A mirror match of that might be horrible, though. If Discord and him are both playing the one of deck, that's going to be brutal to watch.
No, I want to see the
Well,
mirror match of
between-
both playing the
between you and me.
Resurrection deck.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I want to see both.
that's the
of you
one.
That's the
Resurrection
one-up,
play.
There's
How's
like
the game gonna end?
there's like 14 one-ups in it or something, ridiculous. So
A million, roughly.
Yeah, it's very very interesting. So
You might
next,
see a Dino Chicken come out from me. You maybe.
yeah, you might be able to see the old chicken deck or rooster deck or whatever you want to call it. So function against Sven. So I saw I think one of Sven's matches when he played against armies, and he played well, but he still got crushed because armies just crush everyone. And function, of course, is one of those players that's very technical. He thinks over everything, and it showed, and he won his pool pretty handily. And I think that he'll win this match. What do you guys think, Frank?
Yeah, I think this is the biggest lopsided matchup in the first round. I think Function's going to win this. I don't. Again, short of resource screw, I don't. And really bad deck choices. They're just a bad random matchup. Then maybe he tries to play a non-drop. I don't know, but he's gonna win.
Yeah, I mean, we'll
So
see.
like hating on that 9-drop.
Yeah. Let's see. Neo, do you think Function's going to win?
Yeah, of course.
You think? Yeah, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Think
got a great
Function.
mind for the game.
Yeah, like I agree. I think Function is one of the better players in this top 16, and then I know that he hasn't really been streaming that much, but from what he's brought to the game through articles and his videos, he clearly knows a lot about the game, and I'm not too scared to take him here. I think he'll certainly win. Yeah, sorry guys. Like I'm calling these people by their first names because it's just much easier for me, and that's just how I know them. So, like maybe
I'm
I'll.
really confused.
Yeah, I don't want to be confused. But yes, Tim is Mythic Fish Mom, who is this way. I think I'm pointing the right way. But Soldak is right above me, and then Neo. I won't call him by his first name for sake that I don't want to spoil it for him. But I actually know that too.
It's actually Shazam.
Yes.
Damn it.
Now everyone knows. So moving on, we have Hacky against J Crawl. J Crawl, I thought was going to win his pool, but Army has kind of put a stop to that run. Like he started off 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, I think, just crushing everyone, and then he finally ran into the brick wall that is Armies, and lost that one, and he ended up getting second in his pool. And he's playing against Hacky, who got second place out of the West Coast pool, who again I know absolutely nothing about. I don't know anyone from this West Coast pool other than Function and Aaron Squire. So because of that, I'm taking J Crawl here. I think he'll play some sweet deck and win this match pretty handily. Let's see, text. Frank, what do you think?
Yeah, I think J. Crawl wins this one. But they're both excellent players. There were moments of the tournament that I'm really looking forward to shoutcasting with Hacky because of some of his plays and some of the things his deck produced. But I think, like you mentioned, J. Crawl is he's very particular, and he's I don't remember seeing him make anything even resembling a play mistake, and he had some bad matchups for decks at times. But again, what so much of this, as you know, is just who picks what deck to play. I mean, it's almost a little bit of paper, rock, scissors at times with some of these decks being constructed. And I also thought J. Crawl made some really smart sideboarding choices during the pool play. He came back and won a match where I thought that he out sideboarded his opponent. So I'm going to pick J. Crawl.
Yeah, I think it's the
With
same
no
thing.
disrespect to Hackey at all. I like Hackey
not
a
at
lot.
all.
I think he's a great player.
Oh, well, he's clearly, pretty good because he got second in his pool. So, he definitely knows what he's doing. Tim, what do you think? Think J. Crawl's going to win this since you played him in your pool?
Yeah, I mean, he beat me, so he's good enough to win. I mean, he's gonna win the whole thing 'cause he beat
Perfect.
me.
There you go. Nia, what do you think?
Um, hmm. Yeah, I guess Jake will takes it. It's hard for me to make a prediction because I really don't know that much about Hacky, and he could be like the bomb,
Could be.
and I don't know about it. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, just going on what I know, I'm gonna have to say Jake Raw.
Yeah, I think so too. We'll see how that ends up, but I think he might have slightly better play than Hacky, and we'll see how that ends up. And then Armies and Errant Squire, like Frank was saying, that he thinks that this is one of the best matches in the whole top 16. It's going to be pretty close. I'm going to pick Armies, just because I would like to be the one to play him and end his streak. I'm sure that I'll probably lose to him, but I at least want the chance to stop the avalanche, that is Armies of Mordor. So I'm gonna pick Armies here and hope that I can stop him. And if not, he'll probably just win the whole tournament. Frank, what do you think?
Well, I think 3 of the top 5 players are in this side of the bracket with Armies, Errant Squire, and you, John. I mean, that's 3 of the top 5 players in the whole tournament, and y'all 3 happen to all be in the same little side of the bracket, so it's unfortunate. I'm going to pick Armies. I think Charles is a top-notch player. I have the world's respect for him and his deck building. And you guys, if you want to see a great show on Friday nights, Errant Squire does deck building with the Squire. It's a great show in his stream. He shows a lot of real insight into what makes a great deck, but a little bit of this is the luck factor, and there's no real reason for it other than to say Errant Squire just won a whole tournament, so I feel like he's used up his luck for the month. And I'm going to say that Armies is going to pick one of those, one of those strong decks, and just I think he's going to get through it. It's going to be a 3-game match for sure. I'm pretty sure of that, unless there's
it's
screw.
It's kind of funny too because Charles was saying on his stream the other day, or maybe even said it on Twitter. I'm not sure where he said it, but he was mentioning that I've known him for quite a while now, and we've actually never played a game of Hex at all. So if he wins his match, he'll get to play me for the first time ever, which is I think kind of funny. So
That is funny.
yeah. So that's it for the top 16. So moving into the top 8, looks like we're going to have Future and Havoc. I think that will be a match that'll kind of catch people off guard because, again, they don't know much about Future other than what they saw out of pool play, and Havoc's been around for quite a while. So I'm actually going to go out on a limb here and pick Meet the Future. I think he'll beat Havoc. I think it's a little bit of an upset, maybe, but I'm going to go ahead and pick him. Let's see, Frank, what do you think?
Well, in the first round, I think Neo and I both picked Storm to beat Future. I think it was kind of split 2-2. You get the tiebreaker, so you picked Future, but I'm going to say Havoc again then because I'm not sure Future is for real yet. I mean, he's played great. He's had some very good matches. He looked like he was curb stomping some of those Europeans, but really who hadn't. So, I mean, I would pick Havoc, but I think you're the boss, so Future it is. That's fine with me.
We'll see what happens. Tim, what do you think? You think Future or Havoc?
I don't know. I feel like I don't think his luck's going to run out that fast. So I feel like Future has to keep doing it, and just win.
Yeah. Neo, what do you think?
Havoc.
Havoc. All right. So let's
Yep.
put in.
I'm salty about being beaten by Meet the Future, so I'm just going to go against him this whole time.
Cool. So we all agree that Future is going to win. Cool. So next is Crone against Neo. This is actually a grudge match. I think that this is going to be like the 4th time that you guys played against each other, right?
Yep, I always beat him in pools, and so far he's beaten me in the knockouts. So
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that will stay the same. I don't think that you'll get through your arch nemesis, Crone. I do like that this is becoming somewhat of a European, in-house rivalry here. Like you're saying, you guys already played 3 times. This is the 4th time you guys will be playing each other. Assuming everything goes as we predict here, and I'm gonna go ahead and pick Crone to crush you handily 2-0. What do you think, Frank?
No, I disagree. I think Neo beats him. I like Crone. He's obviously one of the top 5 players, I think, in the match. But I always predicted him to lose in the first tournament, and he won anyway. No matter how many times I said he was going to lose, and I'm just going to stick to that streak for him. I'm going to say Neo beats him because I think Crone's terrific, but I think Neo's a better player.
Yeah. Okay. Tim, what do you think?
I'm going with Neo. I know
Yeah.
I know he's a good player. I know not that I don't know Crone's a good player, but I watch Neo all the time. I talk to Neo all the time, so I know he's an excellent player. So I have to go with him.
Well,
But again, remember, it's which Neo shows up, and you know what I mean by that, right, Neo? I mean, you've had some
What's the beautiful
some
one?
special moments in these tournaments.
It's always a beautiful one.
yeah, I think that I have to go with the 3-1 here and go ahead and pick Neo. I mean, I can't be the only one to pick Crone. So,
Well, mostly the hats he wears.
yeah,
They
it's
pull ahead.
it's definitely the Christmas hats that he, and puts on his head through his awesome camera. So Function and J Crawl is the next match here in the top 8. I think that this will be the closest match out of the top 8. I think it'll be 3 really, really close games, and I think that J Crawl will come out ahead to kind of establish his name as a really good player in the Hex community. What do you think, Frank?
Yeah, I think Function will win this.
Okay, yeah. Tim, what do you think?
I'm going with J Crawl.
There you go.
I know him. So
I think that's a safe pick. Neo, you think J Crawl will win, or you think Function will win it here?
Yeah, I think Function doesn't have that much play experience when it comes down to it, like when it matters, kind of thing. I think J Crawl probably has a little bit more than Function here, so I'll go with him as well.
Yeah. So then Armies against myself is the final match in the top 8.
Armies 2-0.
I'm going to refrain from picking.
3-0.
So I do believe that I will win, but then again, like I always say, I have to maintain confidence, or else I've already lost. So we'll go in and say that I will be victorious. Frank, what do you think? Do you think Armies will keep rolling through?
No, I think you win. I think you do. I think that one nice thing you've had is an opportunity to sit back for this week and a half, watch some pool play. You're a pool director yourself. You got to see a lot of deck lists. You got to really watch the matches to see how they're unfolding. I know that a lot of these players that made the top 16 rely on you for advice, and you've kicked around a lot of decks. You've done a lot of testing of decks with a lot of people, and I think that kind of deliberate practice is going to pay off. And I think that unless again there's a resource screw or something crazy or just some kind of fluky bad matchup where whatever deck Armies picks, because he's the Swiss Army knife of decks. I mean, he plays a different one every time. If that deck happens to be a bad matchup for you, then sure, you could lose. But honestly, all things being even, I think you win 2-0, all things being even.
Okay, maybe Tim, what do you think?
yeah, I'm gonna go with you. I mean, you've been sitting back for the past week watching everyone play, so you're well rested, and he's probably exhausted from running through the entire pool. So, gonna go with that.
All right, Neo, I don't even need to hear your opinion, because
I think number 1 in your heart. No, I actually think it makes a huge difference what Armies plays, because I know what you're probably going to play,
agree.
and I know what Errant's probably going to play, and if he beats Errant because of a superior matchup, he'll lose to you, and if he plays a deck which is a superior matchup for you, he'll probably lose to Errant.
right.
And another time, that might be a key factor. That might be like a thing, like that's given him his luck. And if he has to play the same deck twice in a row, you never know what could happen.
Sorry, I'm losing Neo.
He's cutting out a little bit, but I think what he's just trying to say is that he knows what I'm probably going to play, and I kind of like to play control anyway. And I think that Charles likes to play wild decks, which is totally different from control. So if Armies beats Charles based on the matchup, that he'll probably lose to me, which makes perfect sense. It's all about matchups and how you build your sideboard, and we'll see how that plays out. But he makes pretty good points. So there's your top four. I think that it'll probably be pretty close to that. I'm pretty confident in at least 3 out of those 4 picks. So the semifinals would be Meet the Future against Neo. Last tournament I picked Neo to make it to the finals. This tournament I'm doing the same thing. He plays more Hex than like anyone. He's always streaming. He's always thinking about Hex. He always talks to me on Skype about Hex. And I mean, I think that he has a lot of knowledge, and I think that he's going to win this matchup over Meet the Future, which is kind of a rematch. But last time they weren't playing for realsies. But I think this time he'll certainly win. Frank, what do you think?
Well, I like Havoc to come out of this side of the bracket overall, but since we're sticking with your picks, I do think it'll be Havoc and Neo anyway. And I do like Neo and Future. I like Neo and Havoc. I like Havoc. So if Neo does get to play Meet the Future, I would go Neo.
Yeah, I think so.
Again, a lot of this is matchups. It's just
exactly,
again, like
yeah.
you said, the kind of decks, especially if we stick with the same deck all the way through. Who's going to have a versatile enough deck to deal with the most different kind of threats, or whose deck is going to be so hard to deal with, the kind of the meta deck, that some of these control decks just can't handle them, and someone's going to walk through this thing playing something that maybe a control deck can't handle. We're going to have 15 out of 16 decks be control decks, and someone's going to win this that we aren't even expecting. But I'll put Neo out of these 4. I'll put Neo in there.
All right, Tim, what do you think? Think old Future's run's going to end with Neo?
Yeah, I mean, number 2 in my heart's got to go go on to the next round.
All right, there you go. And Neo, what do you think? Think you'll finally overcome your curse of not making it to the finals and actually get there?
I think this is what I think. I think if Soul Marble gets patched, I win the whole thing. That's what I think.
Okay, all right. You think if Soul Marble's patched, you get the whole thing? All right, that makes perfect sense because naturally I will play a deck that loses to Soul Marble, so I can I think you're probably right. And then in the bottom half of that bracket, in the final semifinal match, is J Crawl versus myself. I think that J Crawl is actually, like I'm saying, like I am all aboard the J Crawl bandwagon. Like when he contacted me about wanting to write for the website, I kind of looked into his background, and he has a really good Magic background. He top 4 to a Star City Games Open, which is pretty tough to do. Has a very, very good Magic background, and a lot of that is starting to translate to Hex as he's building these really sweet decks. And his deck was actually my favorite deck out of all the pools. I think it was really innovative, and I'm glad to see him come this far. But if we both play control again, now I'm basing this on matchups. But if we both play control, like I think that we will, I think that the Blood Diamond deck is probably a little better than his Sapphire Blood deck. I know that he plays Volcanon, but I'm sure I'll have some things in my sideboard to deal with artifacts, probably. So I'm gonna pick myself again, naturally. What do you guys think, Frank?
Yeah, I like you to be in the finals. Again, I think Function's going to come out of this and to make it the top 4 over J Crawl. But again, either way, whoever makes it up here to play you, I think you're going to win. So I'm going to put you in the finals.
Tim, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if J. Crawl plays what he was playing the entire Swiss, which I wouldn't doubt he would be, I think the matchup is better for you because, he's. I just feel like you have more bombs and you have Resurrection. And if that's what you're playing, then you have Resurrection and stuff, so you can't really deal with your threats that well. So I'm gonna go with you.
All right, and Neo, what do you think?
It really depends what he plays again, man. Like, Blood Diamond certainly has its weaknesses. If he plays the control deck, then you'll probably win. If he comes storming through this with an aggro deck, you might be in trouble.
Yeah, that's certainly true. I'm actually terrified of someone just someone finding this really good, fast deck and just steamrolling all these control decks that'll very likely be on this side of the bracket. Like, I fully expect Function to play control. I think J Claw will play control. I'm almost certainly going to play control, and armies likes to play these mid-range slash control decks. So I mean, like there's gonna be a ton of control matchups. So like you're saying, if someone comes out with some like red-green deck and just steamrolls everyone, that's pretty terrifying. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen.
Well, there are some mono blood decks that are very fast, very aggressive, that have some graveyard recursion that I think can beat control. So
Hmm.
I think if someone tries to put together something like that, it could be very powerful in the
Yeah,
tournament.
yeah, I agree. We'll see how that works out, but like I haven't picked my deck quite yet. There's two or three that I'm kind of waffling on, but like I'm almost certainly going to play control. I'm very comfortable in control mirror matches, and that stems back to my Magic days. And like I feel like I always play cards that kind of give me an edge in those control matchups. So we'll see. I hope that everyone plays control, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone plays some faster deck and kind of crushes me as well as everyone else in this pool. So the finals then is Neo against Neo's worst nightmare. So we all know how this would turn out. I don't think that Neo has ever beaten me ever with any real deck. So as long as he's playing his Rooster
We're
Sword
actually
deck,
3-2 to me, aren't we, in our matchups?
maybe like
But
that's I don't know. Like I probably got rid of those casts. So I'd have to go back into my archives to see how many times I crushed you. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pick myself here.
unless Soul Marble's patched, and then you die.
Yes, like I think that Soul Marble will be patched, and I think that we'll meet up, and you'll play your Soul Marble deck, and I'll play some Blood Diamond control deck, and I will just keep killing your troops over and over again. I will draw 4 extinctions every game, and you'll probably lose. So
I'm actually considering main decking 2 Nature Rains in my build.
yeah, that's something else that I'm really terrified of is people main deck Nature Rains. So I hope that doesn't happen. Frank, what do you think?
Well, I'm a big believer in until you beat the champ, you respect the champ. And so I'm going to pick
Flair?
John Tata. I think, John, this is your tournament to lose. All the pressure's on you. But I've never really been one to enjoy. I don't like underdogs. Here in the States, I cheer for the Alabama Crimson Tide college football team, which is the dynasty of all college football teams. And we rarely ever lose. And when we do, it's fluky luck only. And so unless Neo gets lucky against you and tops deck the way you usually do, then I think this is yours to lose, John Tata.
Yeah, there will be no skill at all in this top two. It'll be all luck, and I think that that Neo is luckier than me, so he could win, but I just don't think he will. Tim, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with the Neo just because I don't
Alright.
want you to win 2 times in a row.
I don't want to either, so but I just have to pick it. Have to. Mm,
And remember, I'm still only picking you, John Tata, because Shaggy didn't play in the tournament.
Yeah, if Shaggy was here, then everyone would see once and for all that I'm way better than him. But he will never actually
I don't
admit
think
that,
anyone's ever said that, but yeah.
except for him when no one else is around. So, and let's see, Neo. So you think? Okay, so let's say Soul Marble isn't patched, and you still make it this far. I still think you'll win.
How quickly do you reckon you'll draw Extinction?
Turn 4. I'll draw it off top of the deck.
And the second one?
Turn 7.
Yeah, you'll probably win.
There you go. you heard it from him first. So there you go, guys. These are roughly our picks for the tournament of casters, or tournament of streamers rather. I think it'll go kind of something like this. I will save this image, or at least archive this video, so we can go back after that tournament and kind of see how it played out. But I wouldn't be too surprised if it's something like this. Again, I feel like I have to think that I'm going to win. It's more like a mental thing than anything else. But I wouldn't be totally surprised to see any one of these 16 people or 15 people, win the whole thing. So it's very, very tough this time. Last time you could kind of pick out who you thought was going to win, but this time I think you can just throw a dart and pick the winner. So in closing, I'll let everyone say their their piece. But I just wanted to thank everyone who signed up. Frank, thanks for the extreme close-up, buddy. But I just want to thank everyone for signing up for the tournament. If you missed out, I hope you sign up next time. Please check out the website at hextcgpro.com/hexcasters. And yeah, I mean, thank you all so much for watching. Even we had 30 some viewers. I think we topped out at, and yeah, that's pretty sweet for just some show that a whole bunch of bros are doing. So there's no chicks, no boobies, and we're still able to pull this many
I'll
viewers.
sort that out. Don't worry. Give me a second.
Cool. So, Frank, is there anything that you want to say in closing?
Well, Jan, I just have to give all of my respect to all the streamers who played. There were very few streamers who didn't just show everyone how great they are at playing this game, and then none of this would have been possible this time around without the 5 tournament directors that all stepped forward to help, yourself included, John. There were these guys like Hands of Evil and Kaga and Hammer and Skirovic. These guys gave a lot of their time as volunteers to help us because I mean, think if you can even just get your head around what it's like to see to run a 32-person tournament from around the globe. I mean, this is a remarkable achievement, I think, that all of us were participating in, and I think we've overall shown the game to be really well in a really great light. And then, so I want to thank all the tournament directors and the streamers, but I also want to remind people that this Thursday evening in America time, John Tata, who won the first Hex Tournament Streamers, is going to get to play against Corey Jones, CEO and creative director of Cryptozoic and thus Hex the game, and they're going to be playing in the official Hex TCG stream, and I really want to encourage all of you guys to come out and watch that match.
Yeah, that's Thursday at 7 Eastern Time, 4 Pacific. 7 o'clock Eastern Time is actually GMT -5, so I guess it'd be about...
It's 1 a.m.? I think 1 a.m. GMT. I did my math right.
Yeah, okay. So 1 a.m., maybe midnight, I don't know what that is, but Eastern Time is, I think, 5 hours off of GMT, so actually it'd be midnight.
Wait, so midnight.
Yeah,
midnight.
So,
midnight, sorry.
Yeah. So if you're in England, and GMT or that area, it's at about midnight, and if you're farther, east, then it'd be a little later. So yeah, please tune into that and watch. It'll be a lot of fun.
And Corey said that he's actually going to act like a streamer during the game. He's going to be talking to the audience. He's going to be interacting with questions as y'all watch Tata take his beat down. Play Corey. So I really encourage you to not try to catch this later, but to go ahead and come watch it live and see what he may even answer your questions. He may give you the piece of information you're dying to know about. He may answer it if you post the question in the stream. Who knows?
That's true, and those guys love to play mill decks, so I will play something that certainly beats mill, because I will not lose to a mill deck, especially to Corey Jones. So I will never live that down. So Tim, you want to say anything in a closing? You want to tell people to follow your stream? You can type it in chat there. You and your millions of followers, fans, however you put it. Millions and millions.
Yeah, and I just thank you guys all for coming in, and you're all awesome. And good luck to everybody who's in the top 16 here, and congratulations. That's all I got. Short on words.
All right, and Neo, you want to plug your stream and tell people how bad you are, and anything else?
I'm terrible.
Thanks for plugging it for me, Tata.
I hate you all.
There you go. So Neo's stream, if you haven't seen it yet, if you've been living under a rock for the last few months, Neo's stream is this, I think. Yeah. So just click there and follow him. But yeah, guys, please follow all of us. Follow Hexcasters on YouTube. Check out the site that's now on Hex TCG Pro /Hexcasters, and please follow me. Yesterday I had some giveaways for some mercenaries, as well as a few other things. So I will be doing more of those throughout the weeks. So please follow and watch when you can. But I think that's about it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow for my regular stream from 6 to 10. Neo will probably stream tomorrow during the day, Eastern Time, and then Thursday is our webcast at about 8 o'clock Eastern Time. All right, thanks again, guys. See you later.
Good night.
Thanks,
Good night.
everybody.